Ojo anin dene magnetuk nigani akin and edition kaskinyo do tem saging donjiba. Migach mnan dena mayaga mi getip madis when me way gemani do. Genin as book send the man away no gum to gamano genin chikskitoan che kagway wind mage an aning gagiji. Mini goes at gain anishanabe chinanda goes it. Kimina anis anishanabe gewin. Aningewin chayad mi way minub madizivan. First of all, I welcome this opportunity to share the heart of my people, and it was very important for me to begin that sharing is with the language that has been given to our people. At one time, we were prohibited from speaking our language during the time of prohibition. And it was nothing less than cultural genocide that we had to experience. The attempt to destroy our identity certainly had a very deep, profound impact on our people. And when I spoke the language, and I acknowledged the great spirit or the great mystery that our people have always believed that has offered us the opportunity to have this breath of life, to come and live this human life. And it has always been in our belief system as a people that there was a higher power of spirit. And it is always in that belief that we acknowledge that all that we receive as human beings has come through the will and the love of that great spirit. But also that love was transmitted to the earth itself, so that we could feel the physical that would help us to walk the human life. And when we acknowledge the Creator, we say, thank you, great Spirit, great Creator, that you've given us a way of life that would help us to heal. During our times of sickness, during our times of trauma, we know and believe that the great Spirit has given us a way on how to receive the help that we need when it comes to dealing with our mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual help that we need. And it has been the way of our people to always approach healing from a holistic sense. And we begin with understanding that spirit is where everything begins with. That spirit, begins to help us to know our identity and who we are as human beings. And that spiritual understanding that we have and believe in, is very strong in terms of that we believe that there is a great spirit. And that is what has helped our people to survive, knowing and believing that the great spirit has a dream for us, has a vision for us that we would come to fully realize, the gifts that we were given as a people, that it would be the will and the love of the Creator that we would find our rightful place in our homeland. And in finding our rightful place in our homeland, we would share teachings, we would share a knowledge that we believe and know today that need to be heard, around the world. If we look at the reality of the world that we're living in today, we're reflecting a world that is in opposition of spiritual law, of spiritual understanding. When we see and continue to witness the violence that we're witnessing today, it's only a reflection that people are lost, that they're misguided for whatever reason. And when our people go to our healers and our medicine people, the first thing that that the elders will ask an individual, and they say in our language, "Oigonengi bachigan." Translated, it means, what is your dream? What's your vision? And if you have a dream and you have a vision and you share it with the elders, and the elders said, and they would say, you're beginning to know who you are, which is very important when it comes to healing, that you know who you are, that you understand your own identity that you have, as a human being. And if we look at the world today, and we see again, what man is doing to the earth. And until we find a way to make peace with the earth, we're going to continue down that road that is self-destructive. The whole economic system that we are living under today, is about destroying the world itself, destroying the earth for the sake of, having an economy. It's a money-based concept, rather than, having a relationship with the earth that would provide what we needed in order to be able to live and to survive. And in the language, in our words that we offer to the Spirit and to the land, and we say to Mother Earth, in our language we say Meteke, which means kind-hearted Mother Earth, kind-hearted Mother Earth. Because she is a full reflection of that kindness and the love that she has for all life. And we say, Mother Earth, we know that we have not done well. We know that you are hurting. And we know that, changes have to be made. But we also acknowledge that the earth itself has the power to bring us into submission. That the earth has the power to reveal the illusion that we're living under in terms of what is in opposition of spiritual and natural law. She's going to expose it even more, through the forces that she holds, through the water, through the wind, and through the fire itself. And Mother Earth, they say, is going to shake, and that shaking can happen through earthquakes, through volcanoes and, things like that. But we're going to see more and more natural occurrences that hopefully are going to try to wake us up from this insanity and this nightmare that we're living. And we will never be able to heal properly until we're able to find our way back to the land, to go and seek the healing that we all need. And it is the land that can provide what we need in order to heal. And the old people, they always say, if you want to heal and if you want to learn about life, then let me take you to the land and the land will heal you. And that's an absolute truth that our ancestors had lived and had lived by. That within the land we're provided whatever we need in order to live and to survive. The land provides us water. The land provides us food. The land provides us medicines that we need that could help us to heal. The land provides us teachings that are reflected in the natural laws that would help us to find our own balance in life. And if we look at all the different methods that are available for man, and we see, Western type approaches, and primarily their concern is to medicate people, to deal with the pain that they may have. They never get to the root of the problem. And the root of the problem has to begin with understanding the Spirit. Are we living the truth of our own identity that is found within the Spirit in each of us? And if we are not, then there's a good chance that we're going to become very misguided. We're going to become imbalanced, and we're going to become sick. If I can use one example, of one of the teachings that we've always been reminded of is the teaching of wisdom, which is symbolized by the beaver. The beaver is one that teaches us, what real wisdom is. To know wisdom is that each and every one of us have a gift, and to use that gift to serve humanity. And if I could just relate back to the beaver, that the beaver has a gift of very sharp teeth that it uses in order to create the dams and to work, with the waters to build the dams that it naturally does to improve, the environment of the land itself. So if a beaver decided, to not use its gift of its sharp teeth and lay on the shore and allow the other beavers to do all the work, eventually that beaver his teeth would grow very long, and he wouldn't be able to eat. He wouldn't be able to use the gift that he had been given, because he abused it by not using it, not using the gift that he was given. And in the same spirit, we also have been given gifts, and if we do not use those gifts, then there's a tendency that we would become imbalanced, we become sick, either emotionally, mentally, or physically, because we're not using the gift that we were given, to help serve mankind, to have a better world. So where does healing begin? Healing begins with spirit. Healing begins with knowing who you are, that you have a gift. Healing begins with accepting and acknowledging that there is a reality that we call the spiritual world that is there, to guide us, to inspire us. Healing begins with knowing what our individual responsibilities are, the duties that we have been given on how to be a woman and how to be a man. If we do not act out those duties and responsibilities, and again, we can find ourselves, imbalanced, and we would not be healthy. So if we go back to the Spirit and understand how important that the Spirit is. When I said earlier, the elders say, "What's your dream? What's your vision?" That is a spiritual question. That the dreams that we receive come from Spirit. It does not come from another human being. It comes from a higher source of influence that we call the Spirit. That's why the young boys are sent to the land to go and seek their vision that would give them purpose and meaning in life. And then they begin to find balance, and they know where to go when they don't feel good. They know where to go if they feel unhappy, depressed. They run to the land to go and be with the land itself, because it's the land that really offers the real healing that we're looking for. And the old people say, take time, to go and lay on the earth and feel the warmth that comes from the fire that is at the core of Mother Earth, that you can feel the warmth that comes from the land itself, that we're encouraged, to take as much opportunity to walk on the land, to lay on the land. That's all about healing. And the land, has these beautiful gifts, that of medicine that we can use, natural medicines, in dealing with whatever sickness that we may be inflicted with. And the old people say that for every sickness that we find that we are dealing with today, that there is a medicine on the land. And even though that, we may not know it today, but still it's on the land. The medicine that we need in order to heal can come from the land. And that healing is not only about physical support that the earth can give, but that spirit that you feel, from the land itself, is where, we begin to have a much greater chance of having a healthy life and a balanced life. So when I speak and talk about our perspective and our understanding of healing, and the old people in the language, they say, and they thank the Creator, "Miigwech kitigo, emi natanishinabe ani chinandago is it." Creator, we thank you for the blessings on what would help us to heal. And it is always in the land itself that we would find that help, but in union with the Spirit. It has to be in union with the Spirit. You have to have the Spirit and the courage to change your life and to accept your own destiny that is defined within the Spirit that is in you. Everyone was given a purpose. No one was denied, a purpose and a meaning to their life. Everyone has it. But we create a world today, and we're all encouraged to live, a way of life that denies that freedom to be who you are. And that's what's happening, I believe, with a lot of young people today. Recently, there was a study that was revealed here in this part of the world, in Canada, that there was over 2.6 million young people in a state of depression. That's a mental illness. And Western medicine has not found a way to deal with that. Amongst the First Nations people, the Indigenous peoples, we have the highest rate of suicide. And there are three things that are affecting the young people today. Is aggression that has turned violent, and they become violent against each other, even taking their own lives. That aggression of anger, is what a lot of young people are facing. And the second one is the depression, that young people are going through, that they have and have lost the value of life, and they're very, very depressed, which the recent study has confirmed, that all these young people are depressed. And it doesn't take much, to see and to realize why a lot of the young people are depressed. I believe that one of the main reasons is that because they're very unsure of their future, because of what they're seeing in their world. So they go into a state of depression because, no one seems to be listening to what the young people want to say. So they're feeling denied, to express their feelings and to express, their voice. And the other thing that's affecting a lot of young people is addictions. And addictions come in many different forms. And drugs, that are there, legal and illegal, has helped contribute to a loss of life, a loss of understanding, of living a good life. So how do we begin to deal with these symptoms? And through the knowledge and the wisdom of the elders, they say we have to get to the root of the problem, the root of the challenge that we face. And it begins with knowing, understanding, and accepting, and acknowledging the influence of spirit and how it can impact, our greater opportunity for us to heal. And that spirit, is defined by that relationship that we have with the spirit through our dreams. Because all the dreams that we have are influenced by the spirit itself. If you look at the Indigenous way of life, and what you see, is reflected on all these beautiful gifts that came from dreams and visions. That's a spiritual connection. The beautiful drum that we have came through a vision. All the gifts that we have come from spirit. The teachings that we have come from spirit. Everything that gives us understanding of our own existence as human beings has all come from spirit. And within each of us we have that spirit of memory, of the original instructions that we were all given on how to live and to behave. If we do not follow those original instructions, then we become misguided, and then we lose sight of of who we are. And that's what's happening in the world. That the world have not acknowledged that very important part that we call the spirit, that can help us to come to terms with our behavior and the way that we're living. That it is through the inspiration and the guidance of spirit that healing, has a chance to begin, to really help us. No matter what kind of sickness that we may face, whatever that is, physically, emotionally, or mentally, if we overstep the spirit, then the chance of finding resolve to those sicknesses are very minimal. There's all kinds of techniques that people use today that help, that can help in terms of healing. There's many, many different techniques that people use. People talk about meditation. People talk about different ways that help them to become more calm, to try to deal with the realities that they're living and seeing in today's world. As Indigenous peoples, I believe that it has been and it is our duty and responsibility to share these ancestral teachings that can help us to come to terms with it, our own health and well-being as human beings. And it's all about the spirit, and it's all about finding and reconnecting with the land itself, where all the healing, ultimately will come from. That the land will provide, all the physical comfort that we need in order to heal through the medicines and the teachings that are there that would help us to find a good life. One of the teachings that is so profound that comes from the grandmothers, and they say in the language, what that means is the most important way that we can walk in order to ensure health and wellness is in kindness. Kindness. To be kind to life, to be kind to your fellow human being. Because as you reflect that kindness is what you put within your circle, and that is what will be returned to you. It's the law of the circle that defines our own destiny in the world. What we put into the circle will come back. If we show anger, and if we show hatred, if we hurt another human being, if we hurt another life, that will go into the circle and it will be multiplied. Because everything that goes into the circle is always multiplied. If we hurt someone, that hurt will come back multiplied, that you will feel what you have done to another life. But also, if you put life within the circle, that will be multiplied, and you will receive the abundance of that, what you have expressed, that abundance of kindness that can come, from other human beings, that could come from the land itself. It's those values that really determine our health and wellness. Are we living and practicing those values that can bring us, a healthy and balanced life? Now we look at the world today and we see all the structures that we have created. All those structures are not reflective of spiritual understanding. In other words, there's no spirit within what we have been created. It's all about possession. It's all about control. It's about man, being in a position of control. In the heart of the Indigenous people, we know that we don't own anything. We can't control anything in terms of the land itself, that we owe our existence to the land itself. And when we're able to reach that level of showing a simple act of gratitude by saying thank you to the earth hears that, and then she provides. She provides what we need in order to be able to live and to survive. And the teachings, again, you cannot treat the earth, reflecting greed. It's not going to work. Because the earth does not operate, in reciprocating those negative values that we tend to reflect to the earth. If you look at the world today, what we see is, that greed has overtaken man, and we find the people that are on top of the food chain are not necessarily people that have a close relationship with the land. What they're concerned about is the wealth that they will generate by exploiting the resources of the land. And there's no time that they give to the earth to show any gratitude, to go to the earth and say thank you for what you have provided. And the other important law that would ensure health and wellness is that you never take more from the land than what you need. If you take more, then you're going into that environment of greed, and you will never satisfy that. You will never satisfy that value of greed. It will never be satisfied. That's why the old people say, be careful that you never take more than what you need. And if you happen to take more, you got to give it right away. You got to give it away right away. You don't keep it. You give it to another human being that would welcome, that the sharing that you do. Health and wellness is determined by our ability to be kind, caring, giving, people, human beings. That is how we ensure that we can have a good life and a healthy life. And when the old people say, what they're saying is the Creator gave us a way of life that we can have a beautiful life, a healthy life. And it's those teachings that would ensure that we would have a good life, that would act as the foundation of how we should be living. And that foundation of that way of life is based on 7 teachings or 7 laws, beginning with the spirit of the one we call the buffalo, that shares the teaching of respect. What is respect? Respect is having the ability to be able to give the same way that the buffalo gave every part of its being so our people could survive on the plains. And then when the newcomers arrived, what was one of the first things they did? They destroyed the buffalo by the millions, and the earth was filled with red of the blood of the buffalo, and the buffalo skulls were piled so high that it was unheard of for our people to witness such a thing, where someone would come along and destroy that connection that the people had with the buffalo for their survival. It wasn't only about physical survival. It was about spiritual survival, that the buffalo was always there to remind the people how to give, because it gave to the people unconditionally. So respect is really about giving. That's what the world needs. That's what we all need in order to become healthy, is to be able to give as much as we can. Because the more you give, the more you receive. And the second teaching is the teaching of love, which was represented by the eagle. One of the most powerful words that any one of us can express, and there's 3 very simple words, and I say, I love you. That's a powerful statement. That's an incredibly powerful statement to say, I love you, or someone to tell you that I love you. And it is the spirit of the eagle that has always been there to remind us of the power of love, that it is only through acts of kindness and acts of love that we ensure that we will have a healthy life, to be able to be full expression of love without condition. Love is not about putting condition when you say to someone, I love you, and then you put conditions to it. That is not love. That is something else. So that eagle has always been there to represent that the spirit and significance of what love is. And they say that the eagle, flies the highest in the sky, and it comes to get the wishes of the people and carries it to the Great Spirit out of the love that the eagle has for the people, that continue to have a relationship with the Great Spirit. He listens and he circles and he waits to carry the hope and the prayers. And it is said that to be a leader, you cannot be a leader without being expressive of that teaching of love that you're supposed to have for all people unconditionally, and that you cannot lead the people until you make an effort to go on a vision quest to secure your vision and the eagles would help bring that vision that would define your leadership and how you lead the people. It was all about love, to love all the people, to love the land. It was all about love. Love was everything in terms of how we would, eventually bring peace into the world. And the third law was the law of courage that was represented by the bear. And to have courage simply is to be able to do the right thing, to follow the heart that is expressing, what the right thing to do is. The courage, most of all, is to be able to live the truth of your own spirit and not to worry about what other people are going to think or say. If you feel you want to be something and to do something, that you're being inspired from your heart, then you must find the courage that the bear can give for you to be able to embark on that journey that would define your purpose and meaning in life, that would be received, from vision, that would define your purpose in life. When we look at the world today, again, how many people today could stand and say, we do not want war anymore, we want peace? And all the systems, all the structures that have been put in place tell you, we must have military, we must have all of that. And they say, no, we don't need that. And, you have to have the courage to be able to, to stand up, to do the right thing. And when I talk about, action of standing and having the courage to do the right thing, I'm not talking about, engaging in protest or violence. I'm talking about being yourself, being who you are to show the world that there can be peace. And that peace has to begin from within ourselves, that we hold, what we want the world to be. And that's where the bear can come to offer the courage. And there'll be times in our life that we know that we shouldn't be doing certain things, but it would require the courage to be able, to not to do those things that we know can be of harm to ourselves or to other people. And the fourth teaching is a teaching of honesty, which is represented by the one we call Sabe or Bigfoot. And to be honest is really very simple, and that is to be true to your word and to follow the voice of your heart as it's expressing, what and how to be honest. That if you say that you're going to do something, then you be true to that. You be true to your word. And the old people would say we don't need documents that we need to sign of any agreement that we may reach, that we have agreed together that this is what we will do. That is following the real true spirit of that Sabe, to be able to speak from the heart and to be true to the words that are spoken of anything that we may agree to. And to be really honest to yourself is to be honest to the spirit that carries your identity and who you are. To be true and honest to your spirit. Who are you? When you wake up in the morning, when you look in the mirror and say, who am I? Well, I am this. And then can you walk and be honest about your identity and who you are? Or are you afraid to be who you are? So that Sabe is, or Bigfoot, is a really important support that we need in our life, and that is to be honest. One of the greatest compliments that we can get from our community, and they say, there goes an honest person. And the moment that you hear that, you want to be near that person, because you know that person that is being honored by the community as being honest, that person is going to be true to you. It's going to, whatever agreement that you have with that person, you know that it will be true, that it's going to happen. And that person will also be honest with you in terms of guidance that you may need in life, which really comes to the elders, and particularly the grandmothers. The grandmothers will be honest to you. If they feel that you've been misguided, they will be honest with you, and they said you're not following the path, and they will help you to find your way back. But they will be honest with you in terms of the changes that you need to make. And the fifth teaching is the teaching of wisdom that I shared earlier about, that wisdom is to know that you have a gift and to use that gift to serve humanity. That's to serve your people, to serve your family, to serve the nation, to serve humanity and helping to create a better world by using the gift that you have been blessed with. Because all gifts that we have been given by the Creator are gifts to help serve the will of the Creator, which is to bring peace and love into this world. And all of us were given gifts that could help complement, the work that has to be done in order to create a much more peaceful world. And the sixth teaching is the teaching of humility that's represented by the wolf. And to be humble is to, first of all, recognize that in the eyes of the Great Spirit, we are all loved in the same way, that the Creator loves each and every one of us, no matter where we find ourselves as we walk on this earth, that love is there for us, to receive, that would help us to be healthy, to be humble, and never, ever, ever to think of yourself as being above your fellow human being or less than your fellow human being. That humbleness is to know that there is a Great Spirit, to humble yourself and say that it is the Great Spirit that has blessed me with this gift of life, that it is the Great Spirit that can offer my healing, whatever I need in order to heal as a human being. To humble yourself, to recognize that there is a greater power that man has yet to understand. And that greater power is the Great Spirit that is a reflection of unconditional love. I'm not talking about power, to have control over someone else, but it's about love. That you recognize in humbleness that the more that we humble ourselves, the greater chance that we have in terms of our own healing. And finally, the teaching or the law of truth that is represented by the grandmother turtle. And the grandmother turtle has always been there for our people to remind us of the truth that we should be walking, that we call the trail of the turtle. It is in the trail of the turtle that we have, all the teachings and the laws that were represented by the animals that I just shared, that would define the foundation and that trail that we should be living and following as human beings. That it is the trail of the turtle that has been left for us to be able to walk, and it's about a way of life. The trail of the turtle is about a way of life that has a foundation of values and teaching that would ensure that we would have a healthy life. What we need to do in the world today is to come up with a vision that would help us to unite, in a common effort to be able to bring peace into this world. And the biggest challenge that we have today is to put our children in the center of our lives, to be given the truth of their own being, and to help ensure that they also have a connection spiritually, which is where I believe that Indigenous people can have a significant role to bring greater understanding of the significance of spirit and what spirit is and how that it can influence all of us to reach a much more healthier life. And in that knowledge that the Indigenous people have, it's also what is included in that is the protocols that would help us to reconnect with the land, that could also help in the process of healing, that the land can heal us with the medicines that it can provide. It can heal ourselves and create a perspective for us, that can help us to find, a better mental condition, a better emotional condition. The more we spend on the land, the greater chance and opportunity that we have, to find real healing that we all need. So my message here today is more to inspire our fellow human beings to take the time and give an opportunity to the Spirit itself to be a part of one's healing that they're seeking, but also to maximize opportunities, to go to the land, to be a part of the land, to be able to hear the truth of the land that she expresses, how we should heal, because ultimately we will never heal as human beings until we're able to perform true acts of kindness that reflect the peace that I believe that we all need in this world. So that would be my encouragement to those that are listening. Stop and consider, the contribution that Indigenous people are willing to make. Come to our lodges. Come to hear the elders and the knowledge keepers of our people, because we are more than willing to share what we have, because nothing, again, belongs to us. The knowledge that we have was meant to share to the world. And what has taken us thousands of years, to evolve it, we're more than willing and ready to share those teachings. So I leave that invitation, to those that are concerned about healing, to find, the lodges of the indigenous people in this part of the world, to take and make an effort to come and be a part of that environment that will really help in one's personal healing, in coming to terms with their own identity, and living your identity as a person is really what will bring about real balance and harmony in one's life, is once they find out the gifts that they have and the vision that they carry, because everyone was given a vision. Everyone was given a song to sing, but we don't sing the song that would help invite, the Spirit to come within our presence to guide us of the work that we have been given by the Great Spirit, to create a better world.